My name is Rick Garcia. I'm the Director of Public Policy of Equality Illinois, a statewide lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights organization. We are here in Springfield today to urge our General Assembly to support a civil union bill, a bill that will recognize and give some protections to same-sex couples. In the past, we have heard some voices opposing the civil union bill from a religious perspective. And what we want to demonstrate today is that mainstream clergy, mainstream Protestants, Jews, and Catholics support the civil union bill. And this is our attempt to do this. We also have in your press packets a statement in support of the civil union bill that has been signed by over 300 mainstream clergy throughout the state of Illinois. And so right now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Reverend Hurdle.
Good morning. My name is Pastor Suzanne Anderson Hurdle, and I serve Good Shepherd Church in Romeoville, Illinois. I've had the opportunity actually to testify on behalf of civil unions bills, and I'm here today on behalf of those who are not able to be here. I want to say two things that kind of were in my mind this morning. In the Washington, D.C. at the Capitol, at the Supreme Court building, there's something on the Supreme Court building that says equal justice under law. And in our own Pledge of Allegiance, at the end it says liberty and justice for all. And I find myself having a harder and harder time believing that when we just can't seem to get people to understand how important this civil unions bill is. I know that there are many people who say that how can I be religious and believe in civil unions or gay marriage? And to that I say, I just do. I believe in the scripture and the Bible of Jesus Christ, and I believe that welcoming others is so very important, and I set myself on that path many years ago. I want to say that there are those who don't agree with this, but you see behind me just a very small portion of the number of clergy throughout the state of Illinois who do believe in the civil unions bill. Finally, I just want to say I'm a straight married mother of 3 children, and I want Illinois to be a leader in this. I want Illinois to be a place where all people have equal justice under law. We all know Illinois doesn't always have the best reputation. Today is the day for us to set that change in motion. So I truly hope that all of our representatives and senators will make this a priority today to get this bill passed.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Sonia Ingebrigtsen, and I'm the pastor of Church of the Good Shepherd in Carbondale. Thoughtful and faithful people can and often do disagree with one another about religious truth claims. I say this with respect because I know that some of the most vocal opposition to the civil union bill has come from my Christian brothers and sisters. I stand here today as a witness on behalf of many other thoughtful and deeply faithful people who have reached another conclusion. We believe that enacting legislation to create civil unions for gays and lesbians is not only the right thing to do, it is imperative if we take seriously God's mandate of justice for all of God's children. Each person is created in the image of God, and each is equally beloved. No one should be privileged at the expense of another. No one should have access to power and protection at the expense of another. And inequities that have been institutionalized demand correction. In the sacred text of my Christian tradition and in the sacred texts of many other religions, we're called upon to employ an ethic of reciprocity, an ethic of love whereby we care for the other, however we define the other, as we care for ourselves. And this ethic of reciprocity prompts the following questions when it comes to civil unions. Does one couple deserve legal recognition and protection for their covenanted, loving relationship, while another couple does not? And does one child deserve his or her family to be legally recognized and protected, while another does not? Many of us, those standing behind me, many others around Illinois, around the country, and across the globe, say without equivocation and with religious conviction? Absolutely not. We believe every action that promotes equality for God's beloved children is pleasing to God and benefits our communities. Every stand on behalf of those who are marginalized is pleasing to God and benefits our communities. Every opportunity to encourage stable partnerships where both the responsibilities and the protections of committed relationships are accessible is pleasing to God and benefits our communities. And every statement we make to every child that says you and your family are valuable is pleasing to God and benefits our communities. Therefore, I strongly encourage our Illinois legislators to act with courage and compassion and to pass SB 1716, the Civil Union Bill. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Daniel Schwick. It's SCHWICK. I'm the Director of Lutheran Advocacy Illinois, which is the state public policy office for the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the ELCA. The ELCA is a nationwide denomination, the largest Lutheran denomination, with about 10.5 million members across the, 5.5 million members across the state. Here in Illinois, we represent congregations that include about 250,000 residents of Illinois. I have one or two important points to make. Number one, this bill is not about providing some kind of special rights for any class of people in the state of Illinois. This bill is not about adding rights, it's about removing the barriers to basic human rights. We have, for way too long, recognized the right to choose one's spouse or life partner and to have that choice recognized in law for people who happen to be heterosexual. But we have denied that exact same right to people who happen to be homosexual. And this is, again, not about creating a new right for some group of people. This is about removing the barrier to the right that is, from our religious perspective, a God-given right to be with and love and make a life with the person that one chooses. And therefore, this is a civil rights issue. Having said that, it's also very important to recognize that religious protections are woven strongly into this bill. And no one will be forced to participate in a civil union or to recognize a civil union in a religious setting that is contrary to that religion. But it will be a civil union. It is not the church putting its perspective into public law. It is letting the civil world, which we work on through legislation, determine what are the appropriate ways for us to come together as couples and to build families. And we believe that it is in the best interest of all the people of Illinois for us all to have the opportunity to build our families as we choose. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So my name is T.J. Williams. I am a member of the Riverside Church in New York City, which is both American Baptist and United Church of Christ. The Reverend Dr. Larry Greenfield's statement, who is the executive minister of the American Baptist Church of Metro Chicago, my friend and my colleague. He says in his statement, "In our country and in our state, religious communities and their leaders have an unparalleled freedom to believe, to teach and practice their faith without the interference of government. But religious communities and their leaders exceed their authority when they attempt to impose their doctrines and their teachings and practices on people of other faiths, or those who claim no religious identification. that imposition of one religion on others is especially grievous when it involves the denial of fundamental civil and human rights to their fellow citizens. For this is, in my judgment, a violation of the principles of democracy and the spirit of the Constitution. The legislation now before the General Assembly providing for civil unions of same-sex couples in Illinois is long overdue in guaranteeing some measure of basic fairness among all people. For some of us who are religious leaders had hoped that our Illinois legislators would enact marriage equality, since that would be entirely in keeping with marriage being a civil rights institution and would allow those faith traditions that affirm same-sex marriage. What I find highly disturbing is the attempt by some of my friends from other religious traditions deliberately to muddle the distinction between civil unions and marriage in the current legislation in a desperate attempt to deny essential fairness and equal rights. For I plead civility, and I pray religiously that members of the General Assembly will gently but firmly reject this attempt to impose the beliefs and practices of one or more religious traditions on others, and take a strong stand for civil liberty and democratic rights by passing SB 1716. It is signed the Reverend Dr. Larry L. Greenfield.
I'm Tony Tiemann Samora. I'm the interim pastor for Heartland Metropolitan Community Church in Springfield, Illinois.
I'm Lois Parr. I'm one of the pastors at Broadway United Methodist Church in Chicago.
I'm Reverend Kevin Downer, and I'm the pastor of the Church for Me Metropolitan Community Church in Chicago.
Larry Edwards, I'm the rabbi at Congregation Or Hadash in Chicago, affiliated with the Union for Reform Judaism.
Reverend Seth Carey, I'm one of the ministers at the First Congregational Church of Glen Ellen, Illinois, United Church of Christ.
Reverend B.J. Burkhan Rommelfanger. I'm the pastor at Church of the Incarnation United Methodist Church in Arlington Heights.
I'm the Reverend Eric David Carlson. I'm the senior minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton, Illinois.
Martin Wolf, I'm the minister of the Abraham Lincoln Unitarian Universalist Congregation here in Springfield.
Leslie Bradshaw, minister at Unity Church here in Springfield.
Bill Bordenaro, the pastor of Bethany United Church of Christ in Chicago.
Michael Brown, minister at the Universalist Unitarian Church of Peoria.
I, too, would like to thank those who have organized such a wonderful gathering. And I am humbled to be part of this esteemed group that surrounds us today. As Rick said, my name is Donna Quinn, and I'm here today representing the National Coalition of American Nuns, an organization which began in 1969 to study and speak out on issues of justice in church and society. We presently represent about 1,500 women religious who strongly oppose those who continue to support homophobia, which is discrimination of homosexuals, and those who stand for misogyny, which is hatred of women, as a part of their religious tradition. We want to thank the Illinois state legislators and the media personnel covering this important piece of legislation, SB 1716. We know your mothers and your teachers taught you to respect the choices people make and the primacy of their consciences. That is why I represent, and I'm presenting our media statement from NCAN. I will present that to you now. On behalf of Catholic communities, their families and friends, and thoughtful Catholics across the United States, the National Coalition of American Nuns supports SB 1716. NCAN supports this bill because we recognize that a civil union is a form of relationship recognition that gives same-sex couples and older heterosexual couples access to states' rights, benefits, and protections they are presently denied. Again, NCAN supports this bill because these benefits include tax relief, emergency medical decision-making power, workers' compensation, inheritance rights, domestic violence protections, hospital visitation rights, family emergency and medical leave rights, and the right to a proper burial. Again, NCAN supports this bill because it is not only about fairness for couples, as has been said, it is about families. This bill will extend protections to children of same-sex couples who are being penalized by present discrimination. Gay and lesbian parents are doing a magnificent job of raising our children. This has to be recognized in health care and survivor benefits by passing SB 1716. Now, NCAN asks, what man or woman of integrity in the Illinois State Legislature, or what man or woman of integrity in a church, temple, or synagogue would not support such legislation? So my wish for you, and I'm finally going to end. Happy to hear that. My wish for you this day is that you may be blessed in throwing off the chains which bind us to homophobic and misogynist actions, and instead may you be blessed with doing the right thing for all our brothers and sisters, so that all of earth may forever sing your praises. Thank you.